Two-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian forces remain determined to repel the Russian military despite dwindling supplies and wavering international aid commitments. We'll look at the state of play on the battlefield, the impact on Ukrainians, and the country's prospects for victory. Marking the two-year anniversary of Russia's war in Ukraine. Over the course of the war, Ukraine and Russia have each suffered huge loss of life on the battlefield. And now Kiev's counteroffensive is struggling as the Kremlin continues to strike Ukrainian cities and make significant territorial gains. This map shows the areas of Russian control just before its forces invaded Ukraine on February 24, 2022. Russia held Crimea, which it annexed in 2014, and Russian-backed separatists controlled a small section in southeastern Ukraine. Fast forward to today, and most of Ukraine's south and east are now occupied by Russian forces. Russian losses are mounting, however, especially in the Black Sea. But the two-year anniversary comes just days after Ukraine suffered a major defeat, retreating from Avdiivka and conceding the key eastern town to Russian troops. Ukrainian forces are running low on ammunition and artillery as a multi-billion-dollar U.S. funding package remains tied up due to congressional infighting. But resolve remains strong. Our correspondent Andrew Harding returned to the east of the country. He's been following the story of one Ukrainian soldier, a medic working on the front line, who he first met at the start of the conflict.
2 years of war, seen through the struggles of one Ukrainian doctor. This was the first time we met Oleg Kravchenko back in 2022 in a besieged town called Lysychansk. Oleg had just joined Ukraine's army as a volunteer medic.
Look here.
He drove us to his unit near the front lines.
It's a save from Russia. Bomb.
In those early days, a smiling Oleg was full of confidence.
It's my country.
But the Russians are pushing now. They're
Yes.
bombing a lot.
I hope maybe 1.5 months and we will shoot every Russian.
You'll push them out.
Yes.
So you think you're winning this?
Yes, yes.
But within weeks, the Russians had destroyed and captured Lysychansk.
Nice to meet you.
It would be a year before we met Oleg again. His medical team was now working in another frontline town, Bakhmut. Lots of casualties from Ukraine's struggling counteroffensive. The danger's growing.
I'm still alive.
You're still alive, yes.
Alive, yes.
But it's been a difficult year.
Very difficult.
As if to prove the point, incoming fire. You're not worried about your safety?
Whew, my fate is I don't know.
And now, 2 years into the war, we've come to meet Oleg's team once again. As usual, they're in the thick of it. This time in Kupiansk, another furious battle underway. Russia now inching forwards. So the gunfire you can hear is Ukrainian troops trying to shoot down a suspected Russian drone. They heard it overhead. We've taken cover under some trees. Not sure if they've hit it yet. The Ukrainians have found a new Russian target. But what of Oleg? We'd lost touch with him for several months, but now hear news of an attack last October. A Russian rocket hit the field hospital he was working in. 3 medics were killed. But Oleg survived, his leg badly mangled.
My friend died. It's difficult for me, and my mind is changed after that.
When we first met in Lysychansk, you were hopeful that Ukraine could win. When we met in Bakhmut, you were tired and worried, very tired. Now, how do you feel about the war? Can Ukraine win?
Yes, of course. I hope. But I think its war will be long.
A long war then.
Medal of Honor. It's from Zelensky.
And for Oleg, medals and an early retirement, after 2 years that have transformed every life in this country. Andrew Harding, BBC News, Eastern Ukraine.